The neon signs of stellar bites flickered against the obsidian sky of Zenthar 7, casting purple and gold reflections on the rain-slicked streets. Essa wiped grease from his calloused hands as he stepped into the restaurant, his mechanic's jumpsuit still smelling of ion fuel and welded titanium. After 16 hours repairing starship engines in the docking bay, all he wanted was a warm meal and silence. The restaurant hummed with the usual cacophony of interstellar travelers, Krillian traders clicking their mandibles, Viridian diplomats conversing in harmonic tones, and a group of Tellurian miners laughing over fermented algae drinks. Essa found a corner booth and ordered the house special, letting exhaustion seep into his bones. That's when he noticed her. Near the kitchen entrance, partially hidden behind a support column, sat a Drakari female. Her scales, once probably magnificent shades of emerald and sapphire, were now dull and scarred. One wing hung awkwardly, clearly injured and improperly healed. But what caught Essa's attention was the small dragonling clutched against her chest, barely the size of a human infant, its scales a pale, sickly gray. The mother dragon's eyes darted nervously around the restaurant as a server approached. Through the translator implant in his ear, Essa heard the exchange. I have enough credits for one bowl of nutrient broth, she said, her voice carrying the musical quality typical of Drakari, but weakened by desperation. For my daughter, please. The Viridian server's expression remained neutral. One bowl, anything else? No, nothing for me. Essa watched as the server returned with a small, steaming bowl. The mother dragon whispered something in her native tongue, a prayer perhaps, and carefully spooned the broth into her daughter's mouth. The dragonling barely responded, too weak even to lift her head. Around them, other patrons continued their meals, their conversations, their lives. No one else seemed to notice or care. But Essa saw everything. He saw how the mother's hands trembled. He saw how she glanced longingly at the food on nearby tables. He saw the desperate love in her eyes as she coaxed her daughter to take another sip. The Drakari had been humanity's fiercest enemies during the expansion wars, decades ago. They had raised 3 human colonies. They had been ruthless, proud, and uncompromising. Peace had come eventually, but the scars remained on both sides. Essa remembered his grandmother's stories about the war. He remembered the propaganda, the hatred. He remembered being taught that dragons were monsters. But sitting in that restaurant, all he saw was a mother trying to save her child. He stood up. His legs carried him across the restaurant before his mind could talk him out of it. The mother dragon looked up sharply as his shadow fell across their table, her reptilian eyes widening with fear. Her good wing instinctively curved around her daughter, protective. "I'm not here to hurt you," Essa said quickly, raising his hands. You both look hungry." Suspicion flickered in her gaze. "I have no credits left, human." "I'm not asking for credits." He turned to the nearest server. "Bring 2 full meals to this table. The Drakari feast platter, high protein, mineral supplements, and medical-grade nutrient paste for the little one." The mother dragon stared at him. "Why would you do this? Your kind and mine." "Are both people who need to eat?" Essa interrupted gently. "That's all that matters right now." He pulled up a chair, not too close, respecting her space, and sat down. Around them, conversations had stopped. The restaurant had gone quiet. "My name is Essa," he said. "I'm a mechanic. Work on ships mostly, but I know a bit about anatomy, too. Universal training and all. That wing of yours, it's healing wrong. It'll never work properly unless it's reset." Her eyes glistened. "I know. But medical care costs?" "There's a free clinic 3 blocks from here, run by a human woman named Maya. She believes everyone deserves care, regardless of species or credit balance. I can take you there after you eat." The food arrived. plates of synthesized meats, vitamin-enriched grains, and a small container of specialized paste for the dragonling. The mother dragon looked at the feast, then at Essa, then back at the food. A single iridescent tear rolled down her scaled cheek. "We were wealthy once," she whispered. "Before the war destroyed everything. I was a scholar. My mate was a warrior. He died defending our colony when the famine came. I've been running ever since, trying to keep Lysa alive." She touched her daughter's head tenderly. "She's sick. Something in her genetic code. Without proper treatment—" She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. Essa swallowed the lump in his throat. "Eat. Both of you. Then we'll see Maya. She's brilliant. If anyone can help your daughter, it's her." For the first time, hope flickered in the mother dragon's eyes. 3 hours later, Essa stood outside Maya's haven, the clinic that had become legendary in the lower districts of Zenthar 7. Through the window, he could see Maya, her dark hair pulled back in a practical bun, her hands steady as she examined little Lysa with a scanner. The mother dragon sat beside the examination table, watching intently. Essa had learned her name was Thesera. She had talked during the walk, about her life before, about her daughter's illness, about the kindness she never expected to find in a human. Maya looked up and caught Essa's eye through the window. She smiled and gave him a thumbs up. Lysa would be okay. The treatment would take time, but she would survive. Essa felt something unknot in his chest. A Krillian merchant who had been in the restaurant approached him. "That was foolish, human. The Drakari have long memories. Some would say you betrayed your own kind." Essa turned to face the insectoid alien. "Maybe. Or maybe I remembered what it means to be human. We're not the strongest species. We're not the smartest or the most advanced, but we have something that's carried us across the galaxy. And what's that? The stubborn, stupid, beautiful belief that compassion matters more than history, that a hungry child is just a hungry child, regardless of what color her scales are." He looked back through the window at Thesera holding her daughter. "That's what makes us human, not weapons or technology, just giving a damn." The merchant clicked thoughtfully and walked away. Inside the clinic, Maya had coaxed a weak smile from Lysa. Thesera's wings, both of them now, after Maya's quick field stabilization, trembled with relief. Tomorrow, Essa would return to his engines and grease and repairs. Tomorrow, the galaxy would continue turning, indifferent and vast. But tonight, 2 people were fed, a child would live, and a mother dragon would remember that in a universe often cold and cruel, one human mechanic had simply seen her pain and decided it mattered. That was enough. That was everything.